Time for an experiment. We're going to try and create a new and hopefully profitable football trading strategy from scratch. We're going to use the football trading simulator to help us design the rules and form the method. This is not something we have ever done before on this channel, so this could be very, very interesting, or it could be a total disaster. Go grab a nice cold beer or a glass of Baileys and let's get into it. So I've been wanting to do a video like this for a long time, but I knew that to keep the experiment fair, I would first of all need a strategy idea that wasn't my own. So I recently reached out to a few loyal subscribers to this very channel and asked if anyone had any strategy ideas that they thought might be good, they haven't had time to test, then send them to me and we can test them on the channel. So I got a huge amount of responses to that, but the one I liked most and the one that we're going to move forward with for this very experiment, it is a twist on an old concept and something we've previously covered on this channel. And it is the concept of backing under 2.5 goals, but using insurance at the same time. Okay, we've covered this before when we had a big problem with liquidity. However, this twist kind of gets rid of the liquidity problem if it works. Okay, that's if it works. So let me head to the drawing board and just show you the email I got. Very basic email that I got from Craig, who was the winner of this competition, even though there is no prize. But yeah, Craig suggested we back under 2.5 goals and then we back the favorite as insurance. Now, I totally get where he's coming from with this, and I like the concept because the big problem with trading under 2.5 goals is being caught out by a goal. However, what if we were also backing the team that scored the goal? And in most cases, it is usually the favorite who is going to score that goal. So by taking some sort of insurance on the favorite and us getting potentially caught out by an early goal, well, maybe they could just cancel each other out. We could have profit on match odds and a loss on the 2.5 goals market. And that can maybe give us an edge. Okay. Obviously, the worst case scenario would be then a goal to the underdog, but it's definitely worth a test. It's definitely worth a test. And as you can see from the email, there is no real rules to it. There's no real filters to it. It's all very vague, but that is absolutely perfect for this experiment. So what we can do is we can jump on the football trading simulator software and firstly see if this can actually work in theory, and then we can see how we can actually make it profitable and then go from there. This is going to be very, very cool to see. But anyway, if you want to see this, if you're liking this video and you like the subject of these videos, please click the like button. It really, really helps out the channel. It really, really helps out the algorithm. So if these videos are helping you or entertaining you in any way, please click the like button. It really, really helps us out. Okay, all right. It's time to test out this strategy. So we've got the idea. Now we're going to use the football trading simulator to kind of create the strategy. Okay, so we're looking to back under 2.5 goals and also back the favorite. So we've got a match here. We've got West Ham against Leeds. I picked this one out because this sort of market matchup is pretty common to the football markets, with a home team priced just above evens, away team at 3.5, and the draw at that price as well. So this is a pretty common market. So this will be a good market to kind of just try the strategy on, just to get an idea of how it works. Okay, so let's just run a little simulation and just see how the strategy could work. So we would back West Ham, and then under 2.5 goals in this one is 2.36. That's a pretty generous price actually on a under 2.5 goals. So we would be looking to back them 50-50, right? So we're going to put 500 on West Ham and then 500 on under 2.5 goals, okay? So now you can see that this would be our position at kickoff, okay? Now with this manual simulation, what I can do is I can put the goals in at certain times of the match and kind of see what effect that has on the market. So I'll show you that in a moment, but let's just see how this strategy would progress if it was, say, 0-0 after 5 minutes, okay? £17 of profit, which could be there. And I think Craig said get out after, what, 20 minutes? So we'll take a look at that, okay? So if we get to 15 minutes in, then we could make £80. And if we get to 20 minutes in, that's £111. And that's like a 10% return on our total risk in the market, okay? So 500 and 500, okay? So £111 is what would happen, is what we would make if it was 0-0 after 20 minutes, okay? So that's our profit there. However, as you know, I mean, what if a goal goes in, okay? So obviously we're backing the home team to give us some sort of insurance, right? So let's just see what happens if, say, West Ham were to score on 15 minutes. We just type in it there, 15 minutes, okay? So goal on 15 minutes to West Ham. It's now 1-0 to West Ham. You can see here West Ham's price has shortened in to 1.43. Leeds have gone out to 8.8. The draw's gone out to 5.5. So what you can see here is that it's offering us a cash out on match odds of £277. And then we would be taking a loss on the 2.5 goals market of £172. And then we would end up with £105 profit. And that's if we stayed until the 20th minute. Let's just say if we got out immediately on the 16th minute, we actually still make a profit, okay? So that's kind of one of the strengths of this, and this is why I kind of do like this idea that Craig has sent in, okay? If we're going to trade under 2.5 goals, we know a big threat to the strategy is a goal, okay? However, if we can also back the team most likely to score that goal, well, it can kind of balance things out. And in this scenario, instead of taking a loss, we're actually going to take out a small profit from this, okay? So that is interesting. Let's see what happens, though, if that goal is scored by Leeds, okay? Because obviously, that's going to be our worst case scenario. So we replaced the goal for Leeds. It's now 1-0 to Leeds on 16 minutes. You can see the prices have adjusted. West Ham have gone out to 4.7, Leeds 1.81. And overall, we're going to take a £464 loss in this scenario, okay? So £266 loss on the match odds, and then £197 on the 2.5 goals market, okay? So that is that's not a great scenario, okay? And let's just compare that to if it was 0-0. At the same time, we'll be locking in £90 of profit. Okay, let's take a look at this and just see what is our worst case scenario. Those really, really early goals. And say we had to, say Leeds scored in the 5th minute and we had to get out after 6 minutes when the market's reopened. Still looking at kind of a similar loss, okay? £463, okay? So that's interesting as well. That it doesn't seem to change it too much. Let's see if it was 10 minutes. We can change that and have a look. So 10 minutes, the loss looks pretty much the same. And 15 minutes, pretty much the same, okay? So that's interesting as well. It doesn't really seem to make a difference what time the goal is scored, okay? So let's take a look and see if it was 25 minutes. And then it starts to get a little bit better, okay? So that is also interesting to note as well. So that is kind of interesting, but we can play around with this a little bit more and say, okay, what if West Ham were to score the early goal? Does our insurance kick in this case? So let's just move this forward. So West Ham are going to score at 5 minutes. Okay, there you can see it's 1-0 to West Ham. And so our loss would be £26. Okay, so we're going to make a profit on match odds, and we're going to lose the big loss on 2.5 goals. So it kind of does cover it, and it really minimizes the loss. So that is pretty interesting. Okay, so just by running this through the simulator manually, we've got a good idea now of what our worst case scenario is, and it is if Leeds score, we're looking at like a 40 to 45% loss. Okay. And if we were trading under 2.5 goals normally, then you're still looking at a 40 to 45% loss if there is a goal, right? So that is kind of interesting to check out. So now we want to see at what point would we want to take the profit from this strategy. This is something to think about as well. So let's remove that goal, knowing that 40% of our stake is our worst case scenario. Now, is there a scenario where we could stay in the market and maybe make 40% profit? Let's play around with it and take a look, okay? So 30 minutes, if we stayed in and it was still nil-nil, it's still £180 of profit. Let's see if we stayed in all the way to half time. And so then it makes it 315. So that's like 31% profit. So that's not bad. So possibly the angle we might actually want to take is not getting out so early, but actually staying in the market longer. Okay, maybe that is where we want to go with this strategy and really making that profit from the 2.5 goals market, because that's going to give us a much bigger profit. Okay, you really want to swing that risk reward ratio in your favor. Okay, so let's just take a look and see what would happen if, say, West Ham were to score late in that first half. Okay, could we potentially win on both markets? Let's take a look at this. So that's interesting. So West Ham take the lead when we're in profit on the match odds market, and then a small loss on the 2.5 goals market. So still a pretty decent profit, 22%. So if this goal was in the 40th minute, let's try and take a look. Let's move this clock forward. And so you can see that the closer you get to half time, actually the bigger the profit is. Okay, so you can actually win on both markets. If we were to get a late-ish goal in the first half, then we're going to win on the 2.5 goals market and also win on the match odds market and take home that £361 of profit. So I think that we've definitely got a bit of an angle. Okay, let's just quickly see. What if we stayed in till 60 minutes and then the goal was scored there? Well, that's interesting, because then our profit is actually going to increase even further the later we get into the match. So that could be something to explore as well. But I do think that we've got to try and test something a little bit shorter, maybe just the first half strategy. Let's try and keep it as simple as we can for now. And I think that probably the strategy we want to try is we want to try this. We actually want to try to back the favourite and then back under 2.5 goals and stay in till half time. Okay, stay in till half time. If it's half time 0-0, then we know we're going to make a profit. Let me just show you that again. So we're going to make a decent profit. But if it is 1-0 to the favourite, especially late in the first half, we're also going to make a profit. So there's no real reason for us to get out. Okay, obviously the big threat is the underdog scoring, but you would think, and the idea behind the strategy is that they shouldn't be scoring that often. And can our strike rate beat the amount of times that the underdog is going to score? Only when we test the strategy going forward will we begin to know the answer to that question. Okay, but I think that we've got some good rules to this strategy, just based on running that little simulation, the little manual simulation anyway, just to get an idea of where the prices could be in certain scenarios. And it is as simple as that. You just play around. You can kind of see what would happen if Leeds were to score after 20 minutes. And then what if they were to score again at 25 minutes and then they're 2-0 up? Well, we can see that Leeds are going to 1.15 and our 2.5 goals trade would be in a very, very bad position, okay, as well as our match odds trade. So you can play around with all these scenarios as well and just get an idea. And this is how you can really create and build your own strategy. You can start out here, input any sort of scenario, and then see what it would throw up for you before you go live in the markets. And it would obviously save you a lot of money and a lot of time waiting around for these scenarios to actually come up in the markets as well. Okay, but anyway, let me go back to the drawing board, and I'm just going to put down these rules, and then we're going to move forward from there. So we're going to go fully over the rules of the strategy, but before we do that, remember, if you want this software for yourself so you can create your own strategies, test your own strategies, and do much, much more, then the Football Trader Simulator will be released soon via invite only. You have to be on the invite list to get a chance to buy it, okay? It's not going to be available to the general public. Just click the link below the video, put your email address in, and you will get more details as soon as access opens, okay? That's the only way to get hold of this. So you have to submit your very best email address, and you will get details as soon as access opens. Okay, you can do lots and lots of things with this software, as you've seen in the video today, and you'll be seeing in videos to come as well. Very, very useful piece of kit. So let's look at the drawing board and let's just kind of write down where we are with this strategy. Okay, so we back under 2.5 goals with 50% of our stake, and then we back the favorite with 50% of our stake. And then what we're going to do is we exit after the first goal, whichever way that goes. Okay, so if it goes to the favorite, we could be getting out with a scratch trade or a profit. If it goes to the underdog, we know we're looking at a loss, and it just depends on how big that loss is, with the loss looking like it got smaller as the first half ticked on. So your worst case scenario is an early goal to the underdog with the way that the strategy is. And then if it is 0-0 at half time, then we exit out of the strategy and we take a profit. I mean, that's where we're at right now with the strategy. However, in the next video, we're going to be testing this strategy fully. I'm going to plug it into the simulator and we're going to be testing it against real simulated football matches. This is going to be really, really cool, and you're going to get a very, very good idea of how this strategy can start to work over a bigger sample of matches and not when we're manually simulating it, as you saw earlier on. Okay, so that is to come in the next video. We're going to be putting this strategy to test, and then not only are we going to put it to test, but we're going to then tweak it based on our tests and see if we can improve it from there on. Okay, that is how we create a profitable strategy. So watch out for the next video to see more about that. And if you're liking the idea, and if you've got any comments or anything that you think could improve the strategy, any potential flaws before we do the test, do leave them in the comments. Remember, the idea behind all of this is that we can all try and build this profitable strategy together. So I would love to know what you think. And like I said, in the next video, we are going to be testing this strategy out fully, and we're going to know whether it can be profitable, at least in the short term. Okay, it could be profitable, it could be a total disaster. You're going to see in the next video. But anyway, if you like this video, click the like button. I'm sure you already did that earlier on, but also hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well, so you get all the new videos as soon as they come out. And if you want to keep watching the videos, then there are 2 really, really good videos on the screen right now. Click one of those and I will see you in the next video.